Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gayle Fuguitt, CEO and President of the Advertising Research Foundation.
Welcome, everyone, to Audience Measurement 2014. Absolutely thrilled to have you all here. I mean, it says a lot that you got here in New York City in the rain, but what I want to let you know is that yesterday, on a beautiful day in New York City, we had over 100 people here talking about programmatic television. And yesterday, it was not raining. We have a measurement mandate. We have a challenge, and you could say it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us. We're being called into action, and we're being given the opportunity to make a difference and take a stand. But what I would like to offer you is that this is actually a twice-in-a-lifetime opportunity. My once-in-a-lifetime opportunity came along back in the 90s when I became the first officer at General Mills of market research. The first thing I did is I changed the name to Consumer Insights. The second thing I did is recognize that actually if we were going to be called Consumer Insights, then I actually better be delivering Consumer Insights. And I needed to figure out how to get Consumer Insights. And the thing is, in those days, we were doing market research on in person, door to door, literally brown paper bags of brownie mix. We were doing it on the telephone. We were doing it at theme parks. We were doing it at malls. How many of you have walked around somebody that had a clipboard at a mall? We were not on the internet, but consumers in those days were going in droves to the internet, right? So that was our first opportunity, and it absolutely revolutionized the research industry. And we all had to figure out how to change our game to actually step up to the consumer and find the consumer where they were, which happened to be at home at night on the internet, right? Well, look at how things have changed today. Now consumers are on mobile, they're on tablets, they're still on the internet, but they're consuming media in very different ways. And so it's our second-in-the-lifetime opportunity for us to be able to step up and really make a difference. So here's the situation. The need is great. This is an amazing opportunity for us. Marketers are saying they're held to higher standards of accountability, over 70%. We did a major study at the ARF with over 65 industry leaders that accounted for $50 billion in advertising spending. And if marketers are held to a higher standard of accountability, they're going to come to us and ask for measurement. So that's one piece of excellent news. The second piece of good news is that we're going to get resources because resources are increasing over the next 3 years. 72% increase in the percent of marketing analytics spending as a percent of total marketing spending. And total marketing spending worldwide is over $1 trillion. These are big resources that are going to be poured into the marketing analytics space. Now, the other news is that, similar to how I found myself in the 90s, our research is not perceived by the people that we're talking to as keeping up with the consumer today. So we're calling this code red. Now, I like to think of it as a red letter day. You could call it a red alert. In any case, I think we have a big opportunity to change and grow, and the ARF is here to help lead that change. Here's our opportunity. We want to go from media targets to audience targets. We want to go from what have been formerly black box models and things that came along. We hear from our survey more than 50% only once a year versus real-time behavioral data. We're looking to translate consumers' values and then connect that through convergent validity into what they buy and what they watch. That's our opportunity. We're looking to have predictive decision time top lines. We're looking to actually start building collaborative networks, and I can't think of a better collaborative network than the one that you find yourselves here with today in this room. And then finally, for those of you that spent your careers like I have, kind of doing a little bit of spend, measure, and then pray, hope it all works, we're all invited, I think, by our leadership and by this immense outpouring of resources and attention to us with this measurement mandate to experiment, to invest in innovation, and to grow. So at the ARF, we want to simplify and we want to actually amplify our communication. And we have three things that we're trying to do, three very simple things. We want to get the right insight. We want to get it to the right decision maker. That's the person that's making the actual resource allocation decision. And we want to get it there at the right time. And we have a checklist. So the first thing is we want to be focused on consumer behavior. We want to practice what I like to call convergent validity. I think we want this to be the science of research. We need to have quality data. We want to make sure that we're adequately reflecting the consumer, but we want to reflect the consumer the way they're inviting us to, in a very personal way. We want the right decision maker and the information, the way that we integrate and communicate our information and the metrics that we come up with to be able to roll up and down the organization, because that will actually help make better decisions. It will not just be tactical decisions, it will actually help enable strategic decision making. So what that means is we'd love to see in the industry, and we feel there's a mandate to have a common GRP for media planning, and for these organizations to be able to have a common ROI so that they can go from the SKU level to the C level. And then finally, we want to be decision time versus top line time. Early in my career, it was 6 weeks and $60,000, and people had to wait until we got the top line. We can't do that anymore. Many of you in this audience are actually practicing the best practice of real-time course correction, and I know that our research suppliers are working hard at being able to create that and deliver that for us. And finally, what we actually believe at the ARF, and I personally believe so strongly because anyone who knows me knows that I fervently believe in the next generation and in building and growing the next generation so that they can have successful, vibrant careers and lead this amazing time. We need to be able to have new skills. So we see this as a leadership mandate, not just a measurement mandate. It's going to take agility. People are going to have to be able to move resources and come up with new solutions that actually fit what the business question is. We aren't going to be able to change the question to fit what the data is or what the way that we do our analytics. We're going to need to collaborate. We're going to need to collaborate within our organizations, across our organizations, and across the industry and around the world. Technology is our friend when it comes to that. We're going to need to listen better. We have to listen to the C-suite. Let's start by listening to the C-suite instead of telling them. And then we need to converge. We need to bring things together and bring multiple different things together. So if 3 things lead you in a certain direction, then dive in, experiment, and invest in some innovation. And then finally, we need to quantify our outcomes. Too often, I think we move from project to project, and we're moving very quickly, and we're executing. But we need to pause. We need to quantify the outcomes to the C-suite, and we need to use influence. It's not just communication skills, it's influence skills, which means we need to get the right message to the C-suite at the right time. These leaders are leading today. They're sitting right beside you. This is our board of directors at the ARF. These people have a seat at the table. They're advising their senior leadership about analyst meetings and presentations. They've created big experimentation budgets, and they're reinventing their organizations and roles, and they're doing it around the world. This is a group of people that's dedicated to research innovation. They're dedicated to bringing the consumer to the decision table. They're dedicated to making a difference. They're going to be leading narrated discussions here. They're going to be networking with you. They're going to be accessible to you. They're going to be able to tell their story about how they made a difference in their organizations, how they advanced their careers, what their marks are, how they took a stand, and how they're really working to help advance the industry and make a difference for all of us. These are the people and the leaders of today, and these are the people that are practicing future now. Here's what you're going to have in the conference in addition to being able to be side by side with this amazing group of leaders. Today is about programmatic buying in the morning. This afternoon is about big data. Tomorrow afternoon is about cross-platform, and then we're going to pull it all together with ROI and keeping our seat at the table. You're going to hear from amazing keynote speakers. There's a big, great debate at lunchtime because we want to stir it up. You're going to hear about data-driven marketing. We're going to have our amazing Irwin Efron Demystification Award this afternoon. Tomorrow is all about the measurement mandate, and we're going to convene an industry panel because you've heard Bob Leotis and others invite us as a measurement organization to come and heed this call and invitation to pick up the measurement mandate and make a difference in the industry. So we're going to have a couple of panels, and we're going to get those issues out in front of the entire group. And then we have some very fabulous research that David Poltrak has pulled together and is going to be revealing for the first time tomorrow, long-term effects of advertising and other insights, so you won't want to miss that. And then we're going to round it all up with keeping our seat at the decision table and the ROI area. This is the ARF. You are the ARF. We're delighted to have you all here. We're really thrilled to be making a difference. And I would like to pause before I introduce our keynote speakers. And I want to have, first of all, I'd like all the staff of the ARF to stand. Now I'd like the people that have ever worked for the ARF to stand, because this is a 76-year-old organization. I know a lot of you are here. People that have sat on the board of directors and are on the board of directors for the ARF. I'd love to have you all stand. Absolutely delighted to have you all here. I wanted you to see the leaders that you're sitting side by side with. We want to have a conversation at a conference. We're going to have lots of networking opportunities. We had over 100 papers, and you're going to get to see 33 of them presented. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Bob Lord, our first keynote. He's passionate about convergence and the convergence of marketing and technology. So he's going to give you some specific examples about the kinds of things that we've been talking about already that I've shared with you this morning. He applies principles from his book, Converge, Transforming Businesses at the Intersection of Marketing and Technology. And he's doing that to position AOL platforms at the intersection of premium and programmatic. Previously, he served on the Razorfish Global, served as Razorfish Global CEO and CEO of Publicis Digital Technology. He's on the board of directors of the Ad Council and the IAB. He's currently the CEO of AOL Platforms and a former ARF board member who I actually got to serve with. And then as a bonus, Bob is going to be joined after his presentation by our very own Brad Smallwood, our board member, friend, colleague, and one of the leaders that you saw witnessed earlier. And Brad is someone that has built one of these amazing organizations. A number of his employees are here as well, members of his team. He's a mover and a shaker. He's a provocateur. He's out to change the world. And I'll just share with all of you that there's someone else named Brad Smallwood that has a Twitter account that I've been amplifying this panel for the last 2 days to, because it isn't actually the Brad Smallwood. I hope you'll join me in welcoming Brad and Bob Lord first, and then Brad to the stage.